What the hell was that? Cavs fall in game 1 to the Pistons 111 to 101, but I got to ask what was our strategy exactly? Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, give us a call, leave us a voicemail, tell us what you think. 216-260-3433. Noah, you didn't feel that bad about the game, but I mean, we trailed the entire game. We only looked into it for a little bit, and I don't know where our starters were.
Well, it was a shaky one, don't get me wrong, but I also knew this was going to be a long, competitive, hard fought series between us and the Pistons. So, us losing game one doesn't frustrate me to the point where I'm starting the episode saying, "What the hell was that?" Because we did have points in time where we looked really good. I mean, we came back, we tied the game. Donovan Mitchell had his spurts. He also didn't have his spurts, but this all comes down to one statistic to me. And it's a statistic that has nagged us in the playoffs. But if we could fix it, I think we're golden. And that's the turnover margin. 19 turnovers to their 11. We were horrible at the turnover line. And I know we're going to get into players and talk about that in a second, but I got to bring up James Harden right away. 7 of those 19 turnovers were from James Harden himself. So that's not a good look. We need to take care of that. But
Hold on,
overall,
hold on. Can I pause you real quick to ask respectfully, what in the hell makes you think that we're going to fix the turnover margin when we haven't been able to do it now in 8 games?
well, they need to. And I'm hopeful that they
Yeah, they
still
need
do.
to, but to think that they're going to, I think is asinine at this point.
I don't know if it's asinine. It's only been an 8-game sample size. You know what this really looks like to me, Eric? It looks like a team that is playing like they haven't played a ton of basketball together. And that's what this Cavaliers team is.
It looks like Donovan Mitchell, in the words of Channing Frye, is not the guy to get past the second round. That's what it looks like. He gets so passive. Yeah, I'm a little angry after this game one because we see the same shit over and over and over again. We just give Jared Allen his props, his flowers. He basically seals game 7 and then he disappears. He gets in foul trouble. He's absent for long stretches of this game. Evan Mobley, same thing. But Donovan Mitchell was supposed to be the heart of this team. He's supposed to be the star of this team. And granted, he was our leading scorer with 23 points last night. But he just disappears. Like he gets so passive and he watches the game. That's not what superstars do.
Well, did he though? Because
Yeah.
part of my issue with this game is the fact of Kenny Atkinson's rotations. Like I'm getting pretty fed up with them at this point. And I get it. The Jared Allen thing, he was in foul trouble and you had to do what you had to do, bring in Thomas Bryant, sit him on the bench a bunch because you didn't want him to foul out too early. But the fact that he ended up only playing 18 minutes in this game is completely asinine to me. It makes no sense. Why didn't we just let him play the fourth? And if he fouls out, so be it, so be it. Why were we at that stretch before the first TV timeout in the fourth quarter and the second TV timeout in the fourth quarter? So it was like 8 minutes to like 4 minutes on the clock, something like that. I don't have the exact time marked down with Donovan Mitchell on the bench the entire time. That didn't make any sense to me because he's still your star player and you still put him out there. If that's just what you do, why are we getting cute with these rotations? Let me count this real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players playing in the second round to me does not cut it. Now, it getting a little more extended makes sense to me because of Jared Allen's foul trouble, but 11 players playing in this rotation, it's time to see Uno and Spida play 40 some minutes. I don't care. I'm sick of this load management.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I also am going to take a shot at your boy. You were right. He did start Dean Wade, but he doesn't really help us on the offensive side of the ball. I'd rather see Max Strus start there. The way that we beat this Detroit team is on the wings, and you have a guy in there that wasn't knocking down shit. You're shaking your head, but he put in 28 minutes and had 5 points and 3 rebounds. That's not good enough.
And he took 3 shots total, Eric. He's there for the defense. You can't have
Exactly.
5 offensive players on the court, Eric. We don't need to rehash this argument, but he's there to defend Cade Cunningham and take a corner 3 when there's nothing
That
left in
worked
the
out
offense.
well. 111 to 101. We lost and we trailed pretty much the entire game.
and it wasn't completely on Dean Wade. It goes back to what the main problem is for this Cleveland Cavaliers team, and I want to talk about it a little more, and that's the turnovers. The turnovers for the Cavaliers were absolutely awful in this game. I don't know if James Harden had Vaseline on his hands. I don't know if he's trying to get too cute with his dribble moves. I don't know if he's trying to pass the ball too flashy, even though I didn't recall seeing any of that today in this game. But what are we doing? How are we turning over the ball so much? Why are we turning over the ball so much? There's a statistic. It goes something a little like this. I believe it's 44 turnovers, 50 assists for James Harden in the playoffs. What the hell are we doing with the ball? Be smart.
Yeah, for sure. So many times he was coming down the court and literally just lost his own dribble. Wasn't even touched by Detroit. Listen, the Cavs definitely need to hold on to the ball. They need Jared Allen to find a way to stay in the game. Those 3 fouls in the first quarter, I mean, obviously, he has to sit at that point. I don't
Right,
know what you
100%.
expect. I agree with you, though, play him more in the 4th, who cares at that point? Uh, but with him sidelined, Duren went off. I mean, they were more physical than us. They out physicaled us. We talked about that leading into the game. I expected that. But if Cleveland's going to be successful, they cannot give up 31 points on 20 turnovers, 19 turnovers, whatever it was. That's just, you can't. Like, how can you win a game at that? You take those points away from the score and we win easily. And yet we have not seen anything that would make us believe that they're going to fix this issue because it's been constant. We got through it with Toronto, obviously, but we have not cleaned that up yet in a series, and I don't know why we would now.
So, what do you think they have to do to clean it up? What is the answer to this problem other than they need to clean this up?
I think there are 2 issues. I think, Donovan and Harden need to play at different stretches, and kinda manage the floor separately. We saw a little bit of that. We also need Donovan to take over more. Like I said, he gets passive. He will always get his. He'll put up 20 some points, whatever, but you see when he takes over a game, he had that stretch of first games where or game ones rather, where he scored 30 plus points. You can feel that. I didn't feel anything in last night's game where he was taking over the game at any point. That was my issue. Too much dribbling from Harden. We need to get into an offensive rhythm. We need to start picking, setting moving screens, off ball screens, and moving a little bit more, especially if we're going to beat them on the wings. We stand around a little too much. I get it. Playoffs defenses tighten up. You play a little more ISO ball so you can dish it. But we can move off ball a little better and not get in these situations where you're over dribbling and then losing the ball. But are they going to do that? Probably not.
Yeah, I think it's hard because I still don't feel it, and I'm frustrated, and you can hear my frustration when I talk a little bit, and I get angry talking about the turnovers, and I get angry about Kenny Atkinson's rotations and keeping Donovan Mitchell on the bench for a lot of that fourth quarter in a weird way, and not just playing the stars 40 minutes, 38 minutes, whatever game they average 35 minutes a game when you look at the three that were able to play the full game. To me, if they didn't have the turnovers that they had, if they had just a little bit cleaner of the game, they could have very easily won this game. And to me, that's a good sign coming out of game one when you haven't won a game on an away court yet. Gives me positive sign for game two come Thursday, come tomorrow. And it gives me positive sign that the Cleveland Cavaliers can withstand this series and move on to the conference finals. But I got to give credit where credit's due because at the end of the day, we talked a lot of crap on Detroit, and we being the team, the Cavaliers themselves, and they took game one pretty convincingly. They took care of business. Now, it's back to the same conversation we were having with the Raptors. We got punched in the mouth. Are we going to punch back, or are we just going to lay down for a little bit and then maybe roll over and decide that it's time to play some basketball again?
Yeah, that's the question. By the way, Harden and Mitchell, they had a combined 10 turnovers, which was more than their 9 combined assists. Like, you can't win games with a stat line like that. The question to me, though, like, defense has been the key for Detroit all season. They've ridden their defense since JB Bickerstaff has taken over, and that's their identity of this team. This was a big game one win for them. And considering their superstar even had a subpar night, I wouldn't count on them just rolling over and dying either. Like they have a say in this as well. I don't feel as good going into game two. I'm not saying we're out of it by any means, but we've got to stop being so passive. We've got to stop letting a first quarter, first half get away from us and come out explosive. By the way, on the note of being aggressive, I don't know what's a foul and what's not anymore in these NBA playoffs. Like the lack of consistency has been pretty staggering. It's frustrating to watch, somebody get hacked or the offensive fouls in one series and then the lack of it in the next. It's just the lack of consistency is frustrating.
Okay, I'll give you that then. I just didn't want to go down the route of these damn refs because I hate that as an
Oh,
excuse
no,
at
the
this point.
Cavs lost this. I'll be very clear. The Cavaliers, the team, lost this game.
They
They're
did.
soft.
You're going to go down the soft route again too?
They still look soft to me, like, they haven't fixed that, in my opinion.
No, but yes, maybe because we do get a little more scrappy. The only way I think they'll ever beat that allegation at this point is to like make a finals, to make a real finals run, and that's kind of what we're all sitting here with our hands underneath our butts waiting for is to see if they're going to pop and make a real run or we're going to be the same old Cleveland Cavaliers. We thought it last series and now we're kind of in the same boat this series. I don't know if that's, the fact that they haven't played a full season of basketball together. I don't know if it's because they just don't want it, but I don't even know if I believe in the narrative of them not wanting it or if they're just cold. Like, that's what's so confusing. I think we're all sitting here waiting for the star power that this Cleveland Cavaliers team has to really show itself, and we're 8 games into the playoffs now. I'll give you that when you're
So I
talking
think
about 8 games.
I think you hit on it perfectly. You mentioned the word star power. James Harden is past his prime. He's a turnover machine and he's an inconsistent shooter now. And Donovan Mitchell is there's superstars and then there's like tiny bit below that, like a sub superstar, like a mini superstar. That's Mitch for me at this point. Like in my opinion, watching him, a superstar can completely take over game. When you watch guys like Jokic, when you watch guys like prime LeBron in his prime, even Giannis, they can completely take over and change the course of a game. We can see that from Mitch in flashes, but we don't see it enough. Like, I just don't know what I'm watching at this point.
But Eric, is that nearsightedness? Because we've seen Donovan Mitchell take over before in a game, and even if it's not enough and they don't win, I mean, I think about
Where is it
the
now, though? Like when
okay,
the
I get that, but like
you're
we've
in the
seen it.
playoffs, man.
We've seen
We've
I'm
seen
not
it past
talking
tense,
about the
sure, but
I'm not talking about the regular season. I'm talking about playoffs past. The Pacers series, Donovan Mitchell put it all on the line, but the whole team was hurt and there was
right.
nothing he could
So what's
do.
going on now? That's what I don't understand. That's exactly what I'm getting at. Like you
But I
can't like a
don't like
superstar shows up every game.
That's not true. We've seen LeBron himself come out and not have great games in the playoffs before. They're human, Eric. I don't like putting these
In our
people in
run to a
boxes.
championship, not really.
That's no,
That's my
really.
point. That's what it takes to win a championship.
I don't
And
like the idea.
if we're talking that
I don't
level,
like the idea of putting players in boxes after one game. It feels like an overreaction to a game one when you're talking about what you're saying about James Harden and what you're saying about Donovan Mitchell. I just
it's
think
not
it
one
is.
game. That's the thing. It's after 8 games. Like I would have like don't get me wrong, Mitch goes in and he puts in his work, but I haven't seen him in round 1 or the limited sample of round 2 so far take over a game. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying ship him out of here. I'm not saying like I'll completely poo-poo Donovan Mitchell. Don't put words in my mouth here. What I'm saying is as a guy that is the guy, it's his team. I haven't seen him take it over yet this year in the playoffs. And now in 8 games, the fact that I haven't seen that, it makes me it's a question mark for me. Why haven't I seen it?
You could go down the same rabbit hole and you could have the same questions about injury or whatnot. But even then, I mean, I could pull his statistics back up. I mean, he had 23 points on 35 minutes. The turnovers are a problem. Don't get me wrong. I agree that the turnovers are the biggest issue here, but
What
it's not like he
injury?
shot. Well, the argument that he might have an injury, even though they're not saying it, that's been a theory online.
Listen,
That's what I meant. Sorry.
set aside his stats for just a second. Like the point 23 points in 35 minutes, whatever. A superstar or what I would expect from my superstar, not even like a general sense, is that in the 4th quarter when the game is tight, the ball is in his hands, he wants the ball in his hands, and he goes and finds buckets, he finds points. I don't see that from him. That's what I'm saying.
How can you
Like,
see it though? That goes right back to the
'cause it's
Kenny
not there.
Atkinson because it's the Kenny Atkinson argument again. It's the why was he sitting for a majority of the fourth quarter, that whole middle part of the fourth quarter?
So that's the question then. Why is he sitting so much in the 4th quarter?
That's a great question. And that's what I hope we see in game two, Eric. That's what I hope we see moving forward is some actual adjustments here and some real adjustments here, hopefully from the players to get rid of turnovers as bad as they are. And from, of course, our coach as well to not have these weird rotations going on. I know we're talking about, and you like the idea of staggering James Harden and staggering Donovan Mitchell. I get that. But when it push comes to shove and we're in a moment where we're this close to, taking over the lead or whatnot, both stars should be on the court. Actually, all four stars should be on the court because we were being weird with Jared Allen too. Like that to me is just a no-brainer. And that is a knock against Kenny Atkinson from this game and kind of his rotations in this whole playoff so far.
Well, I want to talk Evan Mobley too, speaking of stars, but first, a word from our sponsor. At the Office is brought to you by Rambler Reserve.
And we're wearing the hats right now.
We are wearing the hats right now, and honestly, this might be one of the best looking things I've put on my head in years.
Rambler Reserve is a Cleveland apparel brand based on history for people who love this city and just can't shut up about it.
So, us?
Us, exactly. Whether it be hats, tees, hoodies, you're going to the game, or you're going to the Muni lot. It's perfect apparel for any Cleveland fan out there.
If your friends say you ramble too much about sports, just own it. Head on over to ramblerreserve.com and use code ATO10 to get 10% off your order.
That's ATO10. ATO like at the office 10, ramblerreserve.com.
We still have those hats on because they still look great. Evan Mobley was another one that kind of did a disappearing act, like a guy that we need to be aggressive. Jared Allen, props to him because he shows more aggressiveness. Evan Mobley's another one that just gets quiet on us all of a sudden.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. He wasn't as loud as you want him to be. I will give him credit that I think he had the most confidence I've ever seen him from the 3-point line today, despite only going 2 for 5. It actually looked like he had some faith that he was going to have a three go in, but you need more from him too, especially when you're the star player in the post and your counterpart goes down. You have to step up and fill up a role even more than 14 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 from 5 from three. Like you need to do more than that. Even though I don't think this was a bad game for Evan Mobley by any means, he still needs to do better. I do agree with you on that as well.
It's just our superstars that we have, like they look anything but right now. I don't want to like completely down every single player on this team, but nobody looks like they're willing or able to take over a game, with the exception maybe of Max Struess. Like he comes in and I think he just plays with sky high confidence. I'm not saying he's a superstar. I think he just is out of his mind confident, and it works some of the time anyway. But from our big four, I'm not seeing what I want to see.
Yeah, that I think is the frustrating thing. And I think that's where our middle ground is that it's still the expectation of wanting to see more from this team. And despite making it past the first round, we still haven't seen it. And despite the fact that this is a game one that we could have won, so it gives me a little bit of optimism that if we clean up some things, whether it be on the coaching side or the player side, we can win this series. We could go win game two. We could really take a hold of this series after losing the first game. That's all great. We still haven't seen it. So therefore, we're still frustrated. And then that makes me pose the question to you, Eric. Are you still confident that the Cavs can close out this series after game one? I know it's an overreaction, but
I'm not confident. Like, yes, I think they can go on and win this series. I think my frustration stems more from what I want to see out of this Cavs team and what I do see out of this Cavs team are two separate things. Like, what I want to see is what the Knicks did to the Sixers the other night. That's what I want to see. Like, I want to see us just come out with our heads on fire, put it together, and play solid basketball. And they don't do that. And I think that's what's frustrating the hell out of me right now, is because they have it in them, I feel like, but we've never seen it. And I don't want to make the excuse of, oh, well, it's new guys playing together. They haven't played long enough together. That's great, but I haven't seen it last year. I haven't seen it the year before. Like, you made these moves to make a push, and yet it's doing nothing for us. I mean, we saw Keon Ellis for long stretches in this last game. That's great. He had a big three in a moment, but I didn't expect to see that. So what I want to see and what I'm seeing are two separate things. Can we win this series? Yes. But if we continue playing this way, we're not making it to the finals. And if we do, we're not beating, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say OKC. Like we don't look like any of those teams that look like they can vie for a championship.
Yeah, that is kind of my thought process as well. And I think this is where we're at. I'm doing my glass half full thought process. You're doing your glass half empty thought process with this team where I see ways we could get better. You don't want to give them excuses. And while I think we both agree that this team can go out there and win, just to wrap up my side of this as well, I do think that we could still go win this series. I do think they were just in their cockiness to feel good about matching up against the one seed in Detroit. On the other hand, there's stuff that needs to be cleaned up, and I'm hopeful that it will get cleaned up because we have not seen a game where we go out with our heads on fire. Is that
That's what I said. Yeah.
analogy? Okay, yes. I thought I was trying to connect the through lines. We haven't gone out there one game with our heads on fire yet, except maybe the third and fourth quarter of that Raptors game, but not a complete game. And I've seen it with this team before in whatever iteration, and I really hope with having an aging aging vet makes it sound bad, but an older vet in James Harden and the roster that we have, the depth that we have, we can put it together when it matters most and make a push, whether that be all the way to the finals, whether that be losing in the final, whatever that looks like. I just have faith that we are still going to see that because we were this close tonight to winning a game where we played sloppy as shit. And if we could beat them playing like that, we could beat them with our heads on fire.
I like your confidence. For me, what it comes down to is this team has a lack of identity. And when you're asking a team to find that identity in the middle of the playoffs, that just doesn't bode well for my future predictions for this team. I hope I'm wrong. I still think they can win this series, but to do what we really want them to do, like they don't have an identity right now as a team, and it looks like they're trying to find it. Jared Allen found it for them in game 7 in round 1. Who's going to find it in round 2? But they haven't, like, nobody's played cohesive yet, and that's what we're missing.
It feels like we're watching the Cleveland Guardians a bit, doesn't it? Where you have a random guy go on fire for one night, and that's how you win the game. I thought it was going to be Struce for this game, like it was in one of the games in the Raptors series. And then tomorrow or Thursday, whenever, yeah, tomorrow, excuse me, Thursday when it'll be Donovan Mitchell. He'll finally get his. And then James Harden will have one at home. And then we'll go back to one of the bench guys. Keon Ellis is going to go off for 25 points for some god awful reason, even though he was only supposed to play 10 minutes. Like that feels like the power of friendship Cleveland Guardians stuff we watch across the street and not in the queue, Rocket Mortgage, whatever you want to call it. The Rock. Is that what we're going with now? Is that the nickname for the stadium?
Romo Fijo, maybe? I don't
Well,
know.
they don't even use the field house name anymore. It's just Rocket Arena now. So
Oh, that's right,
they
that's right. Funny you say that though, because, I was sitting at the bar waiting for the Cavs to come on last night, and MLB Network was on the other TV, and I didn't hear it, obviously, but the headline on that TV was, "Why even pitch to Jose Ramirez?" And, I mean, fair enough, yeah, why? But to your point, yeah, we have not been cohesive, and at a certain point, that will bite you in the ass. I hope it's not this series, we'll see. For the record, though, like, splitting in Detroit, I consider a win. If we can split and come back 1-1, that's perfectly fine. The question is, will we? Will we show up on Thursday, on tomorrow night?
And that brings us back to the main storyline here, too. Of course, the coaching matchup, right? You have JB Bickerstaff, you have Kenny Atkinson, two names that are synonymous with our franchise, two names that are going to be pitted against each other multiple times. And it makes you wonder what kind of adjustments they're going to make, whether it be JB on his side with more defense and Kenny on his side with hopefully some better rotations, a little bit more creative offense. I would like to see a little less ISO ball at this point because it just isn't working in my opinion. But it'll all come to a head in this series. I think this is the most spicy. It has the potential for the most spice here in the NBA playoffs right now because of that through line between us and JB Bickerstaff.
Yeah, the funny thing is, basketball is that one sport where we know the saying, defense wins championships. Basketball's the opposite, like, a really good offense can go up against the best defense and come out on top in basketball. You don't see that as much in football, etcetera. So we need to get it together and figure out our offense side of the ball, because right now they look foolish a little bit. So it's one
They do.
game, but it is one game that we could have won, should have won maybe, but didn't because um, we didn't turn it in at the end of the day.
No, we didn't. It'll be interesting to see how it continues to play out. I have confidence. Erik has Erik confidence. We'll leave it at that for now, and see what happens come tomorrow, Thursday, with our Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Detroit Pistons.
I don't know what Erik confidence is, but on that note, the debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.